Welcome to the live broadcast, man. I talked to a lot of these other coaches across Ohio. I didn't get to talk to any Falcons yet, so I figured, hey, we got to talk to some Graham Falcons, and there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about because the Graham Falcons, off-season speaking, are the most active team, probably in the United States of America, as far as the most successful uh, private camp system that's not tied into a wrestling program with the Jordan trained wrestling camps, right? That's what you guys do, right, Coach?
Yeah, exact. I mean, it's been tough, because right now in the state of Ohio, we're on lockdown basically. As far as I'm not allowed to see my athletes, they're not allowed. I'm not allowed to. We're not allowed to train or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, usually postseason happens as soon 2 days after the state tournament. The guys are at the office and we're lifting weights, and from there we lift 3 days a week and we don't miss. We go right into summer camps and a lot of the guys work for Coach Jordan as counselors over summer camps, and they wrestle all summer long. And it's very unsure about what's gonna go from there this summer, but looking forward to getting back to it.
It's crazy to think that I hear people say, well, Graham guys don't wrestle in the off season. Graham guys wrestle hundreds of matches in the off season, as a matter of fact. What is the crazy
Yeah,
thing about that? It's just all the best guys in the country come to you.
right. That's a lot of people say, hey, not a lot of Graham guys wrestle at Fargo, and it's hey, we don't. It's not that we don't tell our guys not to wrestle at Fargo. Hey guys, last year I had Nick Hart wrestle at Fargo. I had Chris Kelly wrestling at Fargo. We'd love for the guys to go out there, but it's very difficult for them to make the decision to go out to travel all the way to North Dakota whenever they can come to camps and wrestle at camps and work the camps and see guys from New York and California and Jersey and PA and Michigan all over. So they get those matches. It's tough. They decide, hey, I'm going to stay at home and train and wrestle at Coach Jordan's camps.
If you look on the walls at the facilities, the different facilities, the house where you lived, where I went to camp, he still has that facility. Like, you guys could activate that facility now, like in a day. If you guys need to run 20 kids, you can do that there. You can run a 20 kid camp at that facility if you need to.
Yeah, it has a fully running kitchen. I mean, it's up to code as far as, we could run a restaurant out of there if we really wanted to. And yeah, the facility's nice. We have plenty of mats that can go down in there and run them from there.
Yeah, you could. I'm just saying, like, you could do a smaller end of a camp there. But the crazy
I
thing,
think 26 to 30 guys we could hold in there.
yeah, yeah, and that's where I did camp. That's where I was a counselor for camp. That's where I did camp. I don't know if you saw. I recently posted this picture of me holding baby Rocky. Did you see that picture?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
yeah. So that was when I worked.
We were cracking up.
He was like just this gigantic dude. He was big, and then he almost died. Speaking of babies, come here, get over here. He almost died. I don't know if you know. This is Ferdinand. Say hi, Coach McIntosh.
Hi.
Hi, yeah.
Man, how you doing today, buddy? Did you sleep good last night? Yeah.
What's crazy? I don't know if you know this about Rocky. He had whooping cough real bad.
Yeah.
And almost died. And Jeff, that was when the Concord Community Center and Jeff's house were the only two locations.
Right.
And then, so he was not having camps there that year, and it was like this kind of crazy thing. And then obviously Rocky recovered. And Rocky had a crazy thing happen in high school. What did he get? Appendicitis and an infection or what? He almost died twice.
Yeah, he had an appendicitis attack. It was crazy. It was right before the Ironman tournament. Had an appendicitis attack and just went down hard. He kept having some pains, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hit, and ended up having to get his appendix removed, an emergency appendectomy, and just crazy. It was crazy. But talking about him being a monster as a little kid, Zeb, you should see him now. He's a giant.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably over 200 pounds, would be my guess.
Yeah, he's real close, but he is freak strong.
He's a mutant,
You
dude.
know, I mean, you know how they all are. They're all strong.
Yeah. How about he is? They made a joke one time. He's they put on like a bio that he was a bass fishing champ. He literally is a bass fishing champ.
Yeah, him and his cousin Tanner, they won.
Okay.
I believe it's 3 state titles in Ohio bass fishing.
I thought it was a joke when they put it on the bio. I was like, "Dad, that's not true." So they're like, "No." Dernlin was like, "No, he's a bass fishing champ."
Yeah.
And then you guys, what is that pond next to the office? There's a pond there. Does that have fish in it?
Yeah. So I figured you might be talking about the one down the road a little bit.
Is it down the road? That's what it is.
Yeah, that's Miss Amy's mom's house, mom and dad's house. Yeah, that pond has fish in it.
So I'm guessing they when it's in between a session or a lift, maybe they'll go catch a fish, right? They'll do something like that. Go get mom, okay? Go get mom. She'll start you, okay? I'll be in there, okay? See you, buddy. Love you. Yeah, and it was funny because, dude, this is a crazy story. He didn't have a good Michigan State Open this year, and I think he was at 74. He might not have placed in the Michigan State Open or took 5th or 6th this year, right? And Travis, you wrestled NAI, right? You wrestled at Cumberland, right?
Campbellsville.
But it's NAI, right?
Yeah.
And I wrestled 5 years at Kent State, and I understand how hard this is, man. I get how hard this is.
Right.
And there's people in our wrestling media, they don't understand how hard this is.
Yeah,
they're pretty clueless, to be honest with you.
I wrestled at NAI, so I know how difficult that was. But you get into the Big Ten, it's dog eat dog, man. It's every week. These guys, not only in the duels, but their wrestling rooms alone. Think about it. Think about it. At 74, you had 4-time state champ Romero, 3-time state champ Rock wrestling off. Wrestle off.
Rocky won the wrestle off.
Right.
And the other thing about that is, so this person's texting me, who shall remain nameless. Well, it just shows you how out of touch people are and don't understand how tough this is. Rocky Jordan took whatever at the Michigans. I don't even know what it was, right? I don't even know if he placed. Doesn't matter, right? Let's say he took 5th or 6th or didn't place. And a person was like, Rocky Jordan, you never told me Rocky Jordan's not any good. And I'm like, well, immediately, you saw the picture. I'm holding him when he's a baby. So I start defending him. I'm like, dude, this is really hard. What we do, what these guys are doing is really hard. And the person's like, we never told me he wasn't any good. And I'm like, no, he's actually really good. I go, he's got a lot of miles on him. I go, he's almost died twice. I'm like, you don't know, but you get my point, right? Like, for someone to be that out of touch and not understand it is.
At the Michigan State Open, he wrestled Maldonado from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He was very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
The guy at 74 was ranked in the top 8 in the country.
Yeah. What's his name? He's pretty tough. Geez, Pete. He has a brother that's an 8th grader. He's from California. Mantanona. That's who it was. Yeah. Mantanona is one of the guys he lost to, who's a top 15 guy. And then he lost this, whatever. But the point, that's not the point. The point is, I couldn't believe how out of touch this person was. And then I was like, I'm defending Rocky Jordan to him. And then, he goes up to 84 and he qualified at 84. Didn't have a tournament, but he qualified, right?
Right.
So it's like, the guy's cutting to 74 and he goes up to 84 and he makes the tournament. I think he's pretty good. And then that's my point, though. And it's just like, I couldn't believe how out of touch this person was. And, it's like, you and I were talking earlier, when we used to do the run at Jordan's and I worked for Eric Burnett for about 16 years. And I worked simultaneously summers where I was down at Jordan's for a couple weeks and then I would come up and work for Burnett. And they were pretty similar, you know what I mean? Like the structure of the camps, three sessions, a morning run. But the morning runs at Jordan's were just, dude, they were monsters. They were monsters.
Right.
I know it's changed a little bit. What do they run down now? If you're at the office, where do you run now, Travis?
Now we just run to Nettle Creek and back. So it's 1.1 miles. But I mean, it's still the fact of this at 7 o'clock in the morning. The guys just don't want to get up and go out and run, and you love to see the guy that embraces that and goes out, gets ready for it, and just finishes the run hard. Now you guys are running 3.3 or whatever, you had to hit Nettle Creek Hill. That was a complete grind. That was really. You would really see who really wanted to dig deep and win that run.
Yeah, I mean, when we did it, well, it was crazy. When we did it, we only had porta potties down there at his house, and then he had 1 or 2 showers. It was like really roughing it then, right? Now they can bring a blow up mattress if they want to. Now you have actual real locker room facilities. And then
air conditioning. We have
yeah,
air conditioning
I mean,
now, so.
I remember I got like,
and we still crank it up and get it all hot, and you know how your matches always get all kind of sweaty, and when live session hits, hey, we crank her up, but when the guys go to bed at night, hey, we can at least get them a little bit better sleep with cranking the air conditioning on,
Yeah, I just don't think there's a better camp system in the country. And I told you, I was telling Troy Steiner that one time. He was like, "What's the best camp system, or what's the best camp you've been to?" And I'm like, "Jordan's." I've covered the camp a couple times too. I haven't got any of your technique. I'm gonna maybe try and get down this summer or something if I can for a couple days. And if you guys are into that, we'll see. We can talk about it. But it's crazy because I don't. Have you ever seen any of my videos of the techniques out there of like Jesse and Jeff showing technique?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We go back sometimes. Nick and I will come back and pull one up for coach and have him watch it or something like that. But I always we like the videos of you going down to the old wrestling building and you walking through the old wrestling building with him and him talking about some of the pictures he has on the wall. Him and Schultz and stuff like that. So
is that old building? Is it like when your kid goes to college and you leave their room just how it was? Is it still the same thing? Is all that same stuff still on the walls?
Everything's still on the wall in there. Everything still has its place in there. And yeah, I mean, why? I mean, so it's like this. I lived in the old house, and the pull-up bar was still in the house, right? The pull-up bar walking into the bedroom is still there. And I lived there. Jason Marshall lived there for a couple years. Then I lived there after him. Now there's other people living there, and they still have the pull-up bar still there. It's like you can't take that pull-up bar down. You know how many reps of pull-ups that bar has seen over the course of its lifetime?
Hundreds of thousands, I would say.
Tons.
I mean, to be fair, hundreds of thousands, maybe in the millions, actually. So crazy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Marshall, he was state champ at heavyweight for you guys, right? In like 05, 06 maybe?
Yeah, back in the Joe Dennis era.
Yeah, I was those guys' counselor. That's who I counsel. I was the counselor for him and Joe Dennis.
Gotcha.
And then, you know what? I got a question the other day, Travis. I was on a live broadcast with Joel Greenlee, and the question came up: who would have been the greatest college wrestler? And this is just like, who would have been the best college wrestler out of Felipe Martinez, Joe Dennis, and Chris Phillips? Right, that was the question. It was,
wow.
and so look, 2 of those 3 guys were Graham guys, right?
Yeah.
And Greenlee answered it off camera. He goes, "Well, that's easy." He goes, "Only one who wrestled in college." He goes, "Dennis, he made the NCAAs." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a good point." And I remember we called him Joey Doey. If Doey Joey, Joey Doey, we interchanged it. But like Joe Dennis was a freak, dude. Obviously, Felipe was too.
Right.
Is Felipe your era?
Guys in there were freaks, but yeah, Joe Dennis was an absolute hammer.
Total freak, dude. He moved like a little guy. and ate donuts, but he was just like, the guy was unreal, and he obviously had some demons that got a hold of him in Cleveland, Ohio, but I think he's out and living life clean
Yeah,
now.
he's back. He's back good now. His dad always stops by the office sometimes and says hi. And his dad actually still donates to our Grant Ramakun golf outing in the summertime. So then Joe comes in and plays in the golf outing, and they're doing great.
He's a good guy, and he's a stud, man. He actually, the crazy thing about him, he followed Stipe. So Stipe, it went from Stipe at 197 to Joe Dennis for Cleveland State, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's some pretty tough guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Hey, so real quick, I heard you still wrestle with these college guys, and you can go about even with a lot of them.
I don't know about that.
When they said it, I was like, dude, he wrestles that much still? They're like, oh, yeah, he still wrestles that much. And it was actually Mr. All-G Shucks himself, Hayden Brawny, said, he's like, no. He said, he still wrestles a bunch. And he's like, he said you and Marinelli have real good goes, or someone like that. I don't even know. I was like, no, there's no way. He goes, no, he rolls with those guys. He rolls with us. He goes, I have a hard time. I said, you can't just grab him and pin him and hit him in an assassin? He goes, no.
He's the assassin Kolot King, man.
That guy is a freak. You know, he led the NCAAs in pins 2 seasons?
2 seasons, yeah.
Sophomore and his senior year, and then obviously he didn't get to wrestle. I think the guy would have won the NCAAs. I mean, he's a horrible guy to want to have to wrestle. And if you know anything, Travis, have you ever been to a D2 NCAA tournament?
Never.
I encourage you, and I know you guys are super busy with your season, but if it's ever in Cleveland again, or they have it in Dayton or Cincinnati or even Indy or something like that, and you can shoot over to it for a day, the amount of parity in a D2 tournament would blow your mind.
Really?
Yeah, the number 1 seed means nothing. It means nothing. It's awesome.
Right.
It's one of the best tournaments to go and watch, because I covered the one here in 2014 when Notre Dame College won in a public hall in Cleveland. Dude, it's awesome. And I can only assume the D3 is probably similar, but like the D1s, right, man, it's like the dude from Franklin and Marshall, and if the guy from Davidson or Sacred Heart makes the tournament, the chance of them beating a seeded Big Ten guy it's just not going to happen. It happens once a year, every other year or something. You know what I mean?
Right, it happened with back in Cleveland, the Eastern Michigan guy.
Yeah, Sidarian Perry. Yep, that guy had a crazy run, right?
Run at it.
And were you at that? Were you there because Mickey was at that tournament?
Yeah, that was great. I love the NCAA's being at the Q. I thought it was a great venue for it.
It's an awesome venue. I just watched the last public gathering I went to. I watched the Lumineers there, and I'm like, I love this stuff. I'm like, I want mats down on the floor. I don't, because it's like, it was such just a rocking venue. The Pittsburgh one, if you were at Pittsburgh.
I did not go last year.
Pittsburgh is, it's hard to get around Pittsburgh. You take the first initial time figuring Pittsburgh out. I mean, I've been doing Pittsburgh and coverages in Pittsburgh since 2008, so I know Pittsburgh and I'm fine. But like for the layman, they opened the doors late and people missed all the way up until the middle of 125. And, they do a rat tail round. So people missed all those rat tails, half the people. But, the Q is just the venue for me. But if you ever get a chance to go to the D2 tournament or the D3 tournament in NCAAs, go. And obviously you've been to the NAIA. How is the NAIA, by the way? Did were you an NAIA All-American?
Yeah, I was a national runner-up my senior year. I lost to Brock Gutches in the finals. From Southern Oregon, he ended up winning 4 NAIA titles. So he was tough, but it's hey, that's the same tournament. The way you describe NCAA or Division II and Division III, the seeds do not matter, man. They get in there and these guys start rolling. And Grandview's hard to beat.
Grandview,
really tough.
That guy has done an amazing job. They're like you guys, because we're going to talk about Graham's reign of utter dominance in Division II Ohio State Tournament. but they've won, I think, how many have they won in a row? 8, 7 or 8?
8 in a row. Yeah.
8 in a row, and they had it this year. They had it. They had their tournament, and they won.
Yeah, oh yeah, they won it this year.
Yeah,
100%. So
Coach Mitchell, Coach Mitchell.
Sorry,
is it Coach Mitchell? Coach Mitchell's
Nick Mitchell, right?
Yeah, good guy, and a hustler. Obviously, he gets it done.
Yeah, so we had at Campbellsville, my senior year, we had a guy from Grandview. His name was TJ Moe, and he's back out there at Grandview, runs their Viking Wrestling Club, and he was one of my assistant coaches, and he definitely brought some intensity. But Frankie down at Campbellsville, he does a great job. Frankie James.
So here's my thing with that. You're an NAIA guy, and I was talking to Jared Opfer with the OAC yesterday, and so many parents, and I know you guys have it at Graham, it's everywhere. So many parents are fixated on their kids going D1. There's nothing wrong with going, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO. I'm guessing your scholarship money paid the same as Rocky's scholarship money at Ohio State or Mickey's scholarship money. The scholarship money's the same. You're getting a degree in exchange for competing on the athletics team. Do you have that? Do you run into that problem at all? Like, hey man, it's okay if you go NAIA or D2. Do you run into that problem at all or not?
For me to say I do or do not, it's kind of difficult because it's only been, I've only been the head coach for 2 years, so I haven't really seen that yet. My guys that are like Jeffrey Thomas, he decided that, he wanted to go to Mount Olive, and a Division II program, new program down in, I believe it's North Carolina, and so he made that decision on his own, so he was fine doing that. I think Jeffrey Thomas could have wrestled at a Division I school. So last year he was one of my seniors, but last year I had a kid that wasn't sure if he was going to wrestle in college or not. Hey, he decided that he wanted to do it. He went to Campbellsville, so I had a D2 and an NAIA guy go out last year.
And then,
now, this year it was Chris Kelly. Chris Kelly signed to an NAIA school, so that's good for him. I think he's at Arizona Christian, so he's going to go to Arizona Christian in Arizona this year or next year. So, but during my junior class, those guys. My junior class is really tough. Martin's already verbal to South Dakota, and Nick Moore could go probably just about wherever he wants to go.
I'm guessing we won't see Nick Moore at Virginia Tech, judging by the recent transfer of his brother wherever he's going to head. He's in the portal.
I'm guessing that's right.
It's probably not going to happen, but you know what I mean. But so you just answered my question. You got guys going NAIA and D2. And then, even because everybody's so bonkers. Everybody's so bonkers about D1, man.
Look at Hayden Brownie,
Yeah, there you go. That was the example I was going to use.
Hayden Brownie went to Tiffin Division II. As Hayden Brownie, as a high school wrestler, he weighed 160 wrestling 182 or 161 wrestling 182. Because he couldn't beat the guys. He couldn't beat Marinelli, and he couldn't beat Garrett Jordan. Marinelli's at Iowa, Garrett Jordan's at South Dakota State, and at that point, So, and it's like now Brownie's the hammer at Tiffin. So,
well, he's about to be a cop hammer. He's going to be a police officer. If you didn't know that, I think he might get hired down there, like Sydney or somewhere down there by you guys. So he'll be down there in your guys' area, Coach McIntosh. So. Maybe hit him up and ask him if he can come in and show some unconventional stuff besides head inside single legs and head outside single legs and go behinds, because you guys have cornered the market on the head inside single leg, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, I know when it's coming, man. When I watch a Graham guy, I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes. They're pulling on the head. They're pulling on the head. Boop, there it goes. And like I said, who's done more with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, bologna sandwiches, hard work, runs in the morning and 3 sessions a day than Jeff Jordan? It's the proof is in the pudding, man. It's if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Jimmy won the NCAA title. He beat John Smith with that move.
With a head inside single
Yep.
chase ankle.
Yep. That's what he did. I mean, if go back and watch it. I mean,
if this is a line that Coach Jordan uses at camp. If that shot will beat John Smith, guys. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's going to be just about anybody.
Yes. I think that's an accurate statement, an accurate take. Okay. Well, I know we'll somehow meander back to this. You want in here? Come on. Come in here. You can help me out with this next question. This is Thomas. Say hi, Thomas. Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Oh, you got a hi from him. He's not very nice to anyone, really. But
hi.
Okay. You ready for it? We're gonna ask Coach this question. We call him the German. Thomas is the German. The German. So, you guys heading into the state tournament had 8 guys qualified, right?
Right.
8 guys qualified. You have won in Ohio in Division II the state tournament. You won an 82 with the Jordans and Stickleys. 2 Jordans, 2 Stickleys, I think, and then there's a couple other guys, right? And then 98, I know one of my college roommates, Mark Lensman was one of the guys. Doug Hess was one of the guys. Ty Morgan was one of the guys. In 98, they won it. And then that was Ron McCunn's 2 titles. Go in there with mom and brother, okay? Ron McCunn's 2 titles. Those were the 2 titles. He was the head coach. And then 2001 to 2019, you won every title in there. 19 in a row. And then since the state duels got sanctioned, you won 7 of those in a row. And then this year was the first year you didn't win. You taking Captain America with you? Go ahead and take it in there, buddy. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, so you guys won every state duels except for one in a barn burner, man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Barn burner. But, you've won all. You've had so much success with Coach Jordan, Coach Ron McCunn. Now you're the 3rd head coach in like 50 years, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Have you ever thought about that?
Right. I mean, there was a little bit in there where Coach McCunn kind of stepped away, then he came back. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Andy Stickley was a head coach for Graham, so I mean, it's been in this tight knit circle as far as Coach McCunn, Stickley, Coach Jordan, and now Coach McCunn, Stickley, back to Coach McCunn, then Coach Jordan, and then now I've been lucky enough to take the reins. So
I think you're the first guy who's not related. Everybody's related there. You're the first guy who's not blood because if people don't know the whole relationship, Jimmy Jordan's wife is a Stickley.
Correct.
Her brothers were on that 1982 state championship team with Jim and Jeff, right?
Right. So so her brothers are Zach, Andy, and then Todd. So Todd was Todd is Eli's dad. And Faith, right? They're twins. Faith is married to Alex Marinelli. Mariah, that's what I mean. They're twins.
Yeah.
Who's married to Marinelli.
Yes.
And then Andy has Justin and JD, who Justin's at Iowa, JD's at Ohio State. And then Zach, who had Isaiah that wrestled for us. He didn't wrestle for us this year, so he's going in the military. So
JD was the one. If you watch the match with the St. V guy, he went to overtime because there was a bunch of real close takedowns they didn't give him, and then he kept hitting illegal moves.
Yeah, so
he got hosed. He got hosed because he didn't get the takedowns that were given to him. But you guys train guys for that. You're trained. Hey, you're not gonna always get the calls. But he was hitting illegal moves. He kept hitting it was bizarre. He figured forward the head and arm and body.
He hit one where a guy had a low ankle and he went same side, caught the foot and tried to kick off. Well, when he kicked off, his foot slipped off the guy's arm and kicked the guy in the face.
Yeah, that was
And
one.
they called that illegal. And then
Overtime.
then right there at the end, he was in a split the middle, and he ended up touching his legs and called it a scissors on the head.
I mean, he got hosed.
The second illegal move, so scissors plus illegal plus 2. You know.
Yeah, and the other thing, well, the one was in sudden victory ended the match. He got beat. Yeah, he got beat because he was a state champ as a junior, wasn't he?
Yeah, he won the state as a junior.
He won the Ironman
as a senior. Yeah.
And then
came back. What's crazy about that match is they gave him the 2 in overtime and stopped. We were inbounds, gave him the 2, stopped the match. Then they went back and waved the 2 off. It's like they would have kept wrestling. He would have even secured the 2 even more.
What was wild to me was I watched it and I was like, that 2 you're talking about, it's as plain as day. He guys the guy dead to rights. It's on the far edge of the mat. Right. It's not close to being out of bounds. That's not what I'm saying. And it's like they stopped it, and the refs had like maybe a conference, right? They stopped it and they waved it out. It was bizarre. I didn't understand it at all. And that normally doesn't happen to you guys. It's not like Graham guys or the refs are normally out to get Graham. I don't feel that way, at least. And it was just so bizarre to watch. It was odd. It was super odd and bizarre to me. But like you guys put guys in the college room. Obviously, David Taylor is one of your guys. He's a 4-time state champ for Jeff. I mean, there's not really any arguing with your results for the last 15 years in NCAA Division I college wrestling. Obviously, the Jordans have had, both Mickey and Bo made the NCAA finals. Bo's a 4-time All-American. Mickey's 3. We could go up and down the list of guys besides just the 3 super good guys who are NCAA finalists and champs that I just named. But why have you guys had a stranglehold on Division II? And did you feel like you guys could have won the tournament this year with 8 guys?
Yeah, 100%. I knew going into the duels that it was going to be tough, especially giving up 2 weights, and but going into the actual tournament itself, I mean, I honestly believed I had 5 guys that could win the whole thing. I could have won it. Gessler could have won it at 13. Nick Hart could have won it at 26. Then you got Nick Moore, Alec Martin, 38-45, and Nolan Eves at 220. I mean, you throw Chris Kelly in there at 32. 32 is wide open. I mean, it's so tough, but it's also wide open as well. I had a good match with Rhodes, the returning champ, and then at the state duels, it's like at that point that gave us some type of confidence, knowing that hey, he's right there. Rhodes is projected to win it at 32. Chris is right there on him. So. And
then I watched Neves. I don't think anyone was going to touch Neves at 220. I think that he was. I mean, let's just talk head inside single leg. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I watched 100%. Him in the Wadsworth finals. Oh my God. Hey, when he got. You did a really good job. You did a really good job there. The guy walked right by you when he threw his headgear, and and I know everything in you wants to clothesline him. You just elbowed your guy in the face.
We've talked about that a couple times. It's like, man, I'm just so glad that nothing transpired when he walked past us leaving. It was a lose-lose situation for all of us at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, if he throws a punch or elbow at you or whatever, kicks you, I mean, you got to defend yourself. It's just not a good look though, because I have the 5th and 6th place angle of it, and I have the 3rd and 4th place angle of it, and I had 2 cameras going on the middle mat on the chair. I have 4 angles of it, and every angle.
I mean, it's good if somebody's gonna see what happens the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I have video of it out there, and my wife's like, "You can't upload that." I go, "It's the finals of a tournament. It's what happened. I don't know what to tell you." Because the Akron, did you see the pictures from the Akron Beacon Journal?
I believe so. Somebody sent them to me. Um, a coach sent them to me, and it was like the picture of the elbow coming back and stuff like that. That's crazy.
And it's captioned. It's a non-wrestling person who took the pictures and captioned it. That's like the best part of it. And the thing about it is, like, we can sit here and laugh about it. Is that your guy was okay? Their guy was okay. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's almost like a no harm, no foul, and everybody should have learned, right?
Realistically, was not hurt. Nobody was
Yeah.
hurt, and hey, wrestling, your tempers get heated. We just gotta try to do our best to control them. Hey, I give Nolan Neves credit on it.
Tons.
He took it like a champ and kept moving forward. So that's just a testament to the kid that he is. Anyways.
Okay, where were you when the decision was handed down the Thursday before? Because they moved the state tournament to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They made the announcement that there wouldn't be a tournament the Thursday night before the beginning. You had your draws. Right? You had all that. Where were you when it all went down?
All week. Well, physically, where I was, Coach Jordan and I and Micah were fishing. It was probably 1 o'clock. We were getting ready to get off the water. We were bluegill fishing. It was like the first nice day we could be on the water to go fishing. And it was like 1 o'clock, and I got a call from Paul Neves, actually. Paul Neves is an AD at Stebbins High School. He gave me a call and said, Coach, I don't know if this is gonna go down. I just got a memo 30 seconds ago saying that they're thinking about canceling everything. And then it wasn't 5 minutes later, and we saw that they canceled the girls' basketball state tournament. And we knew once they canceled the girls' basketball state tournament that ours was coming right next to, they had to cancel that one first because those girls were already on the floor, So there I went to practice. I texted all the guys, and I just said, hey, guys, want to talk after school, come out to practice. They obviously all knew. They have Twitter, they have Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They know. They knew what was going on. And I tell you what, that was the toughest conversation I've ever had to have with a group of wrestlers. A lot of tears, a lot of just sitting there and kind of sitting in silence, just trying to control our emotions and because you have guys like that freshman that want to make run at winning floor. That's just a testament to the program. Nick Hart's goal was to win 4 state titles. And Alec Martin wants to be a 3-time state champ. Why? He's made the commitment, and he wants his picture down in the walkthrough before you go out to the state tournament. He wants his picture running across the screen when you're at the state tournament. Hey, that might be a silly thing, but that's kind of the things that they look forward to. He wants to be known as a 3-time state champ and one of the most dominant wrestlers in the state of Ohio this year. That was his goal. And Nick Moore, he hadn't won a state title yet. He's been in the finals twice as a freshman and sophomore. And Nick Moore was going to win a state title this year. He's going to have a good match with McComas, and we're looking forward to it. So it was just tough. It was difficult. I wasn't prepared for that conversation. It just kind of came off the shirt sleeve. I let the guys talk a little bit, those that wanted to, and you're real devastated for a kid like Chris Kelly. He just senior. He luckily he was my only senior, but something that, and the way we train, so something that these guys work so hard for. One of the things that we worked for was just they weren't allowed to go out and go and get it, or at least fight to go get it.
What did you say? What is there anything that stuck out to you that you said to a certain guy, or whether you're seniors? How many seniors did you have of the 8 qualifiers?
1.
1. So you got 7 of the guys back. What do you say to your senior?
Hey man, sometimes life's unfair. We can do everything right. We can do everything right, and the outcome still is out of our control. So we can only control what we can control. That's basically what I told him. I said, guys, we can't control this. Not me, not you, not your mom, not your dad, not the school. This is completely out of our hands. And sometimes in life, that's the hand you get dealt. You can't control everything. So we have to move forward. We have to get over it. And, I obviously didn't say that then. It's hard to tell a guy to get over it then. And we got to move forward. We got to be there for each other. Just be there for your team. Be there for the guys. There's going to be guys that are upset here for a little while. So I'm not gonna take their emotions away from them and say, hey guys, don't be upset about this. They should be upset about
it. The craziest thing is, and I forget, I think it was like Tervel Delagnov said, he's like, well, misery loves company. Everybody's in the same boat here.
Right.
Is there at least a little comfort knowing that everybody else is in the same situation as you and this wasn't a Falcon focused, hey, we're coming after you? You know what I mean? Like, it happened to everybody.
Right. And that's what we talked about. It's like, hey guys, we're not the only ones. There's 16 guys times 14 weight classes times 3 divisions that are out there. Their families, their coaches that are out there that are also all devastated. And, it was just emotional. We tried to say as least as we could. My coaches and I, because we didn't want to. They were already beat down. You don't want to not try to beat them down anymore. And they're smart kids. They know when you're just trying to fluff something up, just trying to make them feel better. They didn't want to feel better at that time. They just wanted to wrestle.
The craziest thing about it is, about 15 out of those last 19 years, you guys have, and this sounds like I'm joking, and I'm not joking. After sometimes, about 15 out of those years, you guys have not had to come back for this. After the semifinals, there could have been a horrific bus accident. You guys wouldn't even had to come to the state finals. You were winning the team title. You had already locked it up after Friday night, the semifinals, for about 15 out of those 19 years. This was going to be one of those years where it was going to come down to Nolan Neves. This was going to come down to one of your higher, Alec Martin, having to beat Cumberledge or whoever, right? Like, this was like not the year where, we don't have to come back for the finals. And I know you guys came back for the finals and you always want to win state titles. I get that. But mathematically speaking, you haven't had to come back for the finals about 15 out of those 19 titles in this run, right? That's true.
Right.
It's actually true. It's like Genoa.
We're looking forward to that. It's like, hopefully, best case scenario. As a competitor, what you want is you want the state tournament to come down to Nolan Neves and Blake Robbins, Graham versus Louisville for the 220-pound state title. It's like, let's make that happen. That's the most nerves you could possibly get. That's the most butterflies you could possibly get. And hey, it's the two, or you throw in Aurora and they're 2 of the best 3 teams in the state of Ohio in Division II, competing for a state title. I don't know. It would have been fun.
And that's the craziest thing about it. I was just watching one of Jeff's videos. You and I were talking about them off camera, and they're pretty good, by the way. What are you calling those? What's that series called, by the way, that you guys are doing with Jeff?
Wisdom on Wednesdays.
Okay.
So he's gonna every Wednesday morning he's gonna get on and talk about just things that he believes that can help coaches and things that maybe coaches need. And he's got almost 30 years of coaching experience between Purdue and being an assistant at Graham and being the head coach at Graham. The guy's he's pretty knowledgeable about some coaching on some points.
The thing I was going to say is, he talks about building relationships, and the one that I watched, and how all of you guys and whoever you're bringing as assistant coaches, and when you were an assistant coach, and he doesn't want you guys on your butts at all. He wants you involved in the practice, saying 3 positive things to a guy. Even if it's your seventh string guy, JV guy, you got to find 3 positives. Hey, way to fight off your back, right? Like that's that's still a victory for a Graham guy, right? But that's
100%.
positive. That's positive, and that's how you build those relationships. And the craziest thing about it is, and you said it, I know how you guys train. I know what it's, dude, the playbook. The playbook is not, if I wrote down the playbook of how you guys win, y'all work, everybody. You train all summer. Your guy is laser focused on those moments. But you're laser focused on those moments every day. You're laser focused on the Ironman semifinal every day. You're laser focused on the St. Edward Duel every day. And he trains it in cycles. You train it now in cycles. You train for the Ironman, right? You peak for the Ironman. You peak for whatever, Greater Miami Valley, whatever. He's got these training cycles, and you're doing the same thing. State duels, that's a training cycle. State tournament, that's a training cycle. And it's like he's so hyper-focused, and now you're hyper-focused. You know, you won the state title last year. You didn't have to come back for the finals. You know what I mean? You did that. You were the head coach, not him. And that's the big thing I look at is like you guys live it more than other people. You live it 350 plus days. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the craziest thing about it is you're always preparing for those moments that we're just talking about.
Yeah.
Everything okay there, Coach? You good?
Yeah. My little ones are getting up. So
how old? What do you got? How many you got?
I got a 2-year-old little girl, and I got a 6-month-old little girl.
You got 2 girls, huh? You're on the Bo Jordan program, huh?
That's right. Right.
Hashtag girl dad.
That's right, man. Hey, you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. I love getting home and them running up to me and giving me a big old hug. You know.
Okay. So we know you guys were ready to make a run and win your 20th consecutive title, right? Well, is that what it would have been? 20th?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and nobody got that opportunity. And it's awesome because it's going to be there again next year. Because Lake Catholic's bringing back 6 qualifiers. Louisville's bringing a bunch of those guys back. So we're going to get to see it again. It's going to be very competitive again next year. Aurora's got they have 4 district champions back that were sophomores. I think maybe 5. I mean, it's crazy. So we're going to get to see it again next year. It's going to be awesome. But the advantage you have over them is they're in a district where they got to beat each other up. You're coming out of it used to be Wilmington. What is it now? What is the district now for you? Wilmington. Yeah, so that's an advantage to you guys, and you can't geographically request to be moved to Alliance. So I would just take your advantage and run with it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but you look at Louisville. They came out of there blazing guns. Lake Catholic came out blazing guns. The 3 top teams, they came out blazing guns. I mean, I know, Johnny and Aurora, he lost to Julius at the sectionals. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He lost to Julius at sectionals. And, but other than that, they didn't really lose too many of their big players. In Louisville, they replaced their 38 with, I think, a guy they lost down low. So it's like 38-pounder ended up having a good tournament and came out. And I don't know if they were expecting him to come out or not.
So 2021 is going to be interesting again. We're going to get to see part 2 of this that we missed with obviously this year. Hopefully next year, and nothing's certain right now. But let's talk about the future of the camps. I'm alumni of the camp. I've been at the camps at all phases, man. And as you can see, I might be as a 4th phase at the camp coming up. You saw these 2 guys come in here.
We've got two Miller boys there ready to start training at the Jeff Jordan State Champ Camp.
Yeah, I don't know if they got what it takes, buddy. But we'll see. Whatever. My one kid's just a nice kid. He's kind of soft. But my little one that you saw, the German Thomas, you might see the German before it's all said and done. But let's talk about the camp. Let's talk about the camp system. I've said it. Obviously I'm biased with the Burnett trained camp system. It's a similar camp system. It's actually the only camps that Jeff's ever sent his kids to. It's the only camps that Mickey or Bo's ever gone to outside of Jeff's system. So I'm biased. I like that camp system, but they don't run the weeks you run. They don't run 12 weeks of it. What's that
Right.
12-week grind like for you, Coach McIntosh?
Oh, it's crazy. I've been working Coach Jordan's camp since I was a junior in high school. So it's the best summer job for a college wrestler. I would come back every summer, work all summer camps, and then you stay at the facility. You get to train with the guys in between sessions. I had guys like that I was working with Bo, so I got to wrestle Bo every day. In between sessions, we get hard drills in or hard workouts in. I mean, I remember on Tuesdays specifically, those were the days that Bo and I would go out. We'd wrestle for 30 minutes. 30 minutes with Bo Jordan. There's a lot of people that wouldn't like to do that. I know when I was there, I didn't like to do that too much, but it made me better. But the summer camp's a grind. It's a grind. It's waking up. Waking up, thinking about making sure everything's good to go for the day, going out, teaching technique, trying to be as focused on making every kid at that camp better that you possibly can. And it's the same concept as building relationships. We try to build a relationship with each one of those guys. Coach Jordan has a serious rule there as far as by the end of the week, he wants you to know the guys' names. It's a lot better for me to say. I think it builds more of a relationship with me and that kid if it is to say, hey, buddy, hey, good job over there, man, or something like that, rather than saying, hey, Zed, that was a great head and side single. It's completely different, And number one, I touched you personally as far as I said your name. Number two, I gave you a compliment on the technique that you were doing right. I think that builds a guy's confidence. 100% you build a guy's confidence, then it's amazing what he'll do for you.
Yeah, I remember that. He was always like really big on knowing everybody's names. And I know that's like he's been a stickler for that. Once again, that's a part of that this Wednesday wisdom. Is that right? Wednesday wisdom, is that what it is?
Yeah, wisdom on Wednesday.
Wisdom on Wednesday. That's something he talks about, right? That is a huge part of the relationship factor. And once again, man, I can't recommend a camp more than other people. And I'm not some Graham Homer. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a fact, right? I mean, I don't think I've ever been accused of being a Graham Homer. I mean, my nephew lost in the state finals to a Graham guy. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah,
So,
if anything, you're completely against it.
yeah. I don't know about it. I don't know about against it, but when something's as real and as successful as what he's done, you know what I mean? I don't need to like sit here and apple polish, you know what I mean? But like, the proof's in the pudding, man. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's like the success is there because you go down there, you hit the reps, you wrestle hard in the night sessions. You got to run in the morning, which sucks. Nobody likes that. And it's like life's not fair, but you learn a lot of really great lessons from going down there and learning some and getting some tussles in Champaign County. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys get their wings clipped there. They get beat up. But that's a big part of it, man. And it's like, I talking to Jared Opper. Jared Opper was a 4-time state champ, and he was 57-0 as a senior. He pinned like some inordinate amount of the guys, and then he went and jumped into a D1 room. Well, don't you think if he would have gone to Jeff Jordan's camps, he'd have been prepared for a guy headbutting you and shoving you into the wall? Don't you think he'd have been more ready for that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And then it's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's why the camps have been so helpful to the Graham program as well. It's like you see all aspects of wrestling. You see the guy, the thrower. You see the guy that's the leg rider. You see the guy that's slick and pretty. He's standing to the outside wrestling like John Smith. But you also get the brawlers, and that's where we are. And it's definitely helped us as a program, as a team. And it's definitely then it shows it's helped our guys when they transition to the college ranks as far as coming in and being able to be successful there as well.
So we're in the middle, obviously, and this is probably the hardest thing for you to even try and give an answer to. But I know you're Jeff's right-hand man. First off, does he still have the Dead Sea Scroll with all the names? Is there still a thing? Does he still have all the names written down?
It is a thing. It is a thing, and you'd be surprised at how crucial it is. I mean, just for checks and balances on making sure we have guys placed in the right. But we moved to online registration, so you can register online. You don't have to mail in an paper application, paper check anymore. So that's good. I mean, that's good. So we're transitioning to modern times, but hey, like you said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Around here is we do things. Might not be the easiest way, but we do them the most effective way for us, and it might be harder, and that's okay. But that's just the way we understand the way we do it. So, but yeah, Coach, he still has his camp boards, and but that's what he's comfortable with. So we gotta adapt to being comfortable.
The names are all on a big. Is it a big sheet or a long sheet or what? He writes literally every name and every week down on a handwritten thing.
He writes every kid's name, kid's name, age, and weight, and state where they're from. So, and then if their accomplishments, like if they're two-time state champ or a district qualifier, whatever, just to build the camps. And yeah, it's a bunch of poster boards put together, rolled up, and we pull the boards out, pull the applications out. Guy calls the week number. Hey, that's the camp he goes into. Send him out a confirmation, and we're ready to go.
Has one of you, whether it's his wife, you, or one of the boys, put it into a Google Doc or a spreadsheet yet? Or Jesse Lang maybe? Did somebody, you know what I mean? Like, has that ever happened?
Yeah. That 100% happens. I mean, when we do check-ins, they go in there. And then as well as now, it's automatically generated. Everything's registered online. So if you were going to register now, you go to our website, click register, and it'll take you through the whole process of you filling out a paper application to an online application.
Are all the camps going to happen this year, as of right now?
Yeah, 100%. As of right now, all of our camps are going to happen. We're going to move forward, and wait for any updates that they're going to give. But yeah, 100. We are still planning on doing our summer camps right now. Yes.
100% Jordan trained, going full tilt. How nimble are you in the sense that if Graham High School says no Graham High School wrestling room, can you just move that to Concord Community? How much is at the office? What's the capacity at the office? What's the capacity at Concord? What's the capacity at Graham High School? What's the capacity at the old farmhouse? Are you nimble enough to move things around like that if you need to?
Yeah. If we have to, we can move them around. We talked about going back to Concord possibly, and so hey, we have the facilities to be able to move things around and do them with. So if it comes to that point, then that's we'll make a decision there. And a lot of the guys that come to camp, they've been to Concord or wherever, and they pay. A lot of our teams love going to Concord because it's a smaller environment and kind of really cranks up the intensity in there.
I like Concord. There's actually a video of me making fun of Jeff wearing Jordan. Jeff, he's wearing Air Jordan like high tops. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
We're at Concord, and there's like the bleacher side of it, and there's the stage side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like you're down in this pit, and it's
Right.
It's an old elementary school.
Yeah.
And I worked there a couple summers. I mean, it's actually just like it's really cool, the whole setup and the culture of it when you go to it. But what is your guys' website? If people wanted to go to the website and they wanted to register, are they too late? Can they still register? Or are you all full?
Yeah, still register. We're still getting applications. We're still getting our team camps. Our team camps are our fastest growing aspect of our camp as far as groups of 8 or more coming in as a team, and it's a cool aspect as far as getting them in there. The coach gets if you bring 8 guys, 2 coaches can come for free with the team, stay, videotape all the technique, ask us whatever questions, and we'll try to help them out as best as we can. Teams are still applying for camps. Individuals, schoolboys, they're all still applying for camps, and yeah, we're still moving, man.
A lot of people were scared for a long time of video being out there and our techniques and our secrets. And I've actually had people say to me, Travis, well, if you video my technique, people aren't going to come to my camps. And I can't think of a more silly thing that the whole point of going to your camp, you can sit and watch all the head on side singles you want on YouTube or Flow Wrestling or Track Wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not like going to the camp at all. Would you agree with that?
Right. Right. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, all of our, over the course of the years that we've been running the camps, all of our, not all, a lot of our technique is out there. A lot of people have seen Coach Jordan hit a head and side single, but you'd still be amazed. You get some, after July, you get college coaches that come and say, Coach Jordan, I've seen you hit a head and side single. I've seen your head and side single. I know how you do it, chase the ankle, but can you show here in person so I can actually see it and feel it and this and that and the other, So, yeah, hey, there's videos out there, but Zeb, all too well, there's no feeling like walking in on, Sunday night when Coach Jordan comes in and does check-ins and you guys start cranking up the intensity going live. There's a different aura that comes over the room that can't be seen or felt through a video.
How about it's time, fellas? Is that still the morning wake up?
The lights on, turn the fan off. It's time, fellas. Oh yeah, that's still Coach Jordan's words, and those are the three most dreaded words when you're laying there. You start to see the light come in the windows, and those three words are coming because when those words come, the day is gonna start. You get to start out with a run.
Yeah. So I got a run story for you. You ready?
Let's hear it, man.
Okay. So we were at Concord, and the Concord run's different because Concord's a couple miles away from Jeff's house and the office, and it's not by Graham. So we're at Concord working, and I was working, and I was in college, and Jimmy Jordan was coming around and he was like kind of working out and he was showing technique. And this is like 2001, right, man? This guy, he's not in Congress yet. And obviously he's does a better job of making liberals angry right now. And, being a guy in, the Congressional District 4, and he's a politician now. He's in D.C. and Urbana and back and forth, right? He's all over. So he was there and he's like, I'm going to do the run this morning. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So we did the run and I'm running with him. I'm talking to him. And so it's just like an old track trick I used. And I'm like 20, right? He's 40 or something, 30, 38 or 37. And I ran right with him, right next to him. And then I let him take the lead and I kind of used him as a wind block. And then we got to the last 200 meters and I dusted him, right? And like I told you, you wouldn't know that I could run distance. But so I dusted him, right? And he gets up and oh golly gee shucks, Ebenezer, I'm gonna get you tomorrow. And I think we ran again, and I did the same thing. I dusted him again. And then there's nobody to ride the bike. And for round 3 of beating him again, because you know how competitive they are. They don't want to lose at anything. They don't want to lose at Tiddlywinks, right? They don't want to lose at Uno.
Checkers, whatever.
I'm gonna get you tomorrow, Ebenezer. And I'm like, well, I'm 20 and you're older, and I'm fast, so no, you'll probably never beat me. But I was looking forward to dusting him a third time. And Jeff's like, Miller, you're on the bike today. And I had to ride back and forth up the road to make sure, there's kids that puke and kids who walk. And, you got to make sure the last kid gets in, doesn't get hit by a car. So I didn't get the chance to dust Jimmy for the third time. I don't think I can get him anymore. I'm 255 pounds. I think he can get it. He can exact his revenge on me now if he wants to.
Oh yeah, you still when he's around, you still, or when he's here in Urbana, you can still see him sometimes. Him out running. He runs Nettle Creek. Runs Nettle Creek Road.
He's a maniac. Guy's a maniac. Jeff's not a runner. Jeff just wrestles every day stuff. Hey, I heard Jeff still does the Airdyne with the plastics on. Is that true?
Oh yeah. So he still rides the Airdyne. He tries. He cranks it, man. But one thing he used to do was ride a mountain bike, and we just got some new mountain bikes, and we got a little bit of a road course of laps that we do, and it's brutal. It's brutal. So
riding bikes is awesome. I got an Airdyne like sitting right next to me right here, and I've been hitting the road a lot lately. I'm hitting the road like 3 days a week, and dude, it hurts my knees so bad. It hurts my patella tendons in the front so bad. I mean, when you're 255 pounds and you're still running in between 9 and 10 minute miles, 8 and 10 minute miles, which is what I try and do, it's hard. You know what I mean? It's a lot of, think about the pounding. If you add that up, it's a lot of pounding.
Get you a bike.
No, I do. I have a road bike, but I still like to run. It's like an illness or something. It's like, but there's nothing like running on the road. It's harder than anything. You run on a treadmill and you run on the road. They're not the same thing. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, I don't like running on the road because you can. I mean, obviously I'll do it, but you can't. You can never beat the road, Zeb. You'll never beat it.
Road's always gonna win. You're right. Like,
the road is always gonna win.
Yeah, and it's like when you're 250 plus, like I am. It's not good. That pounding's not good. We're not made for that pounding. And my wife's like, just start doing the Airdyne more, and she's right. She's not wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just got to start doing that. But okay. What's the website, by the way? If people want to see the website,
JordanTrain.com. JordanTrain.com, and you guys can visit the JordanTrain.com. You'll see all of our camps, how to register. And, our JT gear, obviously, the Jesus Train shirts are on there. So those are hot commodities,
Right now, obviously, Rudis makes all your stuff. How is that relationship going? And how is the gear market for you guys with the relationship between Rudis and Jordan Train?
Oh, it's outstanding. Obviously, Coach Jordan is an owner in Rudis. So Coach Jordan, Jesse, and Tommy, they're owners in Rudis, and Rudis takes good care of us, obviously, for the Jordan camps as well as for Graham Wrestling, and we support Rudis, and Rudis supports us, and it's great.
Okay, are you still working with my partner, Guy Seiko, and Defense Soap? Do you guys still sell Defense Soap at Jordan Trained Wrestling Camps?
We'll sell Defense Soap at the Jordan camps. We sell the soap, wipes, and bars of soap, and it's great. I tell you what, you call in for an order and you get it the next day.
Dude,
always.
They are top notch, top of the line. They're a big part of what I do. I wouldn't be doing wrestling media anymore. I don't even work with Flow Wrestling anymore. But my YouTube channel and Defense Soap, and then I work with Barbarian Apparel. You guys are Rudis, but between those partners and me, like, that's what keeps me going, but like Guy Seiko is what a wrestler doing business is all about. And I know you agree. You just said it. I mean, right. It's amazing, man. But okay, when's the first week of camp? When's the last week of camp? When can we expect it to be started?
The first week of camp is going to start, May 31st through June 3rd or something like that.
Okay.
May 30th through June 3rd. Whatever that Sunday through Thursday is, and then we'll run all the way through August 2nd through the 6th. So 10 weeks of grinding in there. We'll have 3 schoolboy camps as well, and hopefully we'll be able to also crank out a girls camp this year, all girls camp. Nice,
that's awesome. You're a girl dad. I could only see you understanding the value in that. I like that. That's good that you guys are moving forward with the movement. So, all right. You got anything else for me?
That's it, man. Hope go out and have a good day today.
Get
outside. It's supposed to be a nice day, so.
We're going to hike. Okay. I'm going to cut the live feed, and I'm going to cut the video here. Stick around real quick. I want to talk to you off camera, and we'll tie this up. All right, Coach?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for